Hey everybody, welcome to Yoga with Nazareth. I wanted to make a brief video today for those times when you really don't feel like practicing yoga. I think it's something that isn't talked about much in the yoga community, but there is a natural ebb and flow to our practice. There's times we can devote a daily practice, and there's other days where we just don't feel like it. And it might not only be yoga. Maybe there's an exercise regimen that you're just feeling like you need a little break from. Sometimes we can be stressed and fatigued. So there's nothing wrong with a break. Yet at the same time, we know we need to move our bodies. So what do we do on those days? That's where this video comes in. So before we get started, know that you don't need any special equipment. I am standing on my mat, but you could do this on your hardwood floor or your carpet. To begin, let's just start with sort of moving through the body in general. So let the knees be slightly buoyant, maybe even bounce a little bit on the feet. Let the arms dangle and kind of flop around a little bit. And you might feel silly, but just sort of laugh it off, shake it off. Swing through the arms a little bit, move through the torso. You might want to shake through the legs. Just kind of feel the body. Let it move in any way that you desire. And then come to a centered position here. Rock through the feet a little bit, going to the heels and then the balls of the feet. Spread the toes and then plant them down on the floor beneath you. To begin, we're going to start with the neck and moving it side to side. So I'll begin facing the camera and then I'll turn so you can see. We're going to turn our right cheek over the right shoulder, and you're going to be opposite of me because of the camera. So right cheek over towards the right shoulder, and then we'll come center and think of the cheekbone moving over to the left and back to center. We'll do that 2 more times. I'll turn to the side. So again, really think of the cheekbone moving over towards the right as if someone were calling your name and you were gazing behind you, but keep the eyes soft. Back to center and over to the left. As you do this, resist the urge for the shoulders to come up, so keep them down. Last time, keeping a neutral position in your stance and your spine. Come forward and then to the left. Good, and we'll come center. Next, we're going to think of shaking the head yes and no. So you're going to draw your chin not only towards your chest, but slightly in towards your throat. As your gaze comes down, feel the stretch or maybe even a little pull through the back of the neck. You may even feel it in between your shoulder blades. Then we're going to draw the chin up. Think of the back of the head flexing towards a tag on your shirt. Important not to go past your range. So you may be tempted to go back really far, but I think you can hear in my voice how it becomes restricted. My shoulders are hiking up. So stay within a point that you can breathe. The shoulders don't have to come in and they can take a back seat. Once again, chin towards the chest. Remember to bring it in slightly towards the throat. And we'll repeat that movement. So moving back to flexion. And then last time, coming into extension, crown of the head reaching forward, chin in towards the throat, then down to the chest. And last time, moving back. Good. And then come on up. Next, we'll bring some lateral movement. So we'll think of the right ear coming to the right shoulder. Feel a little bit of a stretch, perhaps, on the traps, along the neck, maybe even a little bit in the arms. Come up to the center, left ear to left shoulder. Sometimes it's tempting to lean forward or even turn the neck a little bit. Try and stay in an even plane here. Come back up, over to the right, center, and over to the left. And one more time. Coming up to center, over to the right, and then up to the center, and over to the left. I'm going to sound like a broken record. And come on up. Good. So now we'll incorporate a little bit of that movement all together. So we're going to bring the chin in towards the chest. Remember, keeping it back towards the throat. And now we're going to keep that idea of turning the cheekbone over to the right. Keep reaching the chin in towards the throat as you come center, and then cheekbone over to the left. Come center, and we'll repeat that 2 more times. Right cheekbone up towards the ceiling, chin in towards the throat, down to the chest, over to the left. And last time. Again, arms are relaxed, shoulders are down the back, your stance is neutral. And we're just kind of working into the little nooks and crannies of the body. Come center. Bring the head up, and now we're going to go into flexion 1 more time. So think of the back of the head towards that tag of your shirt, but you should be able to hold this position without the shoulders getting stiff or tensing. Same thing, cheekbone over to the right, and then cheekbone over to the left. Just depending on your body, this may be a little more difficult. It is in my body, considering how much time we look at our cell phones and computers and we're hunched forward. So we often don't take the time to work our neck in this position. Last time, coming to center, and then over to the left. Good, and we'll come center, bring the neck upright. And maybe you want to just kind of sway side to side, shake the arms out, just do what feels good. I'll turn to the front again. So next we're going to work on the shoulder joint a little bit here. Take your hands, make a gentle fist, keep the arms straight. And we're going to think of making a circular motion with each shoulder. So we're going to draw the shoulders up to the ears. Then we're going to draw it back to the wall behind us, down to the floor, and then forward. Up, back, down, and forward. 1 more time for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then we'll reverse that. So now we're going to come down, back, up, and forward. Down, back, up, and forward. Last time, make it as smooth as possible. Moving through that circular range of motion. And then shake it out. Once again, swing the arms a little bit. Okay? And then we're going to start to get into the low back, the lumbar spine, as well as the thoracic spine, or kind of the mid-back in between the shoulder blades. So bend your knees, place your palms on the thighs, press down so we can keep the elbows straight. And we're going to start first with articulating through the lumbar spine, or the low back. So we're going to think of the tailbone reaching up towards the ceiling, creating that arch in the low back. Pelvis comes forward. And then now we're going to bring that tailbone to the floor. Another way to think of it is if you have pockets on the back of your pants and the pockets come up towards the ceiling. And then now you're trying to pull the pockets down towards the heels. Elbows straight. 1 more time. So there's no movement in the upper back as the tailbone comes up and then tailbone lowers. Good. And then we'll come to a neutral place. Stay here. If you need to shake it out, go ahead, but elbows straight. Now we're moving into the upper back, or the thoracic spine. And the way I like to explain this to my students is envision Iron Man and how he has that beam of light in the center of his chest, kind of right around the sternum. That's what we're focusing on moving. So with the tailbone neutral here, we're going to think of that beam of light, or the sternum, pressing back in between the shoulder blades. So the upper back arches. Now we want that beam of light, or the sternum, to come forward towards the top edge of your mat or the wall in front of you. So there's no movement in the lower back. We're not doing this, okay? We're not doing the booty pop, all right? It's just the upper back. So let's do that 2 more times. So that beam of light reaches back in between the shoulder blades. You're going to feel a stretch along the spine, and then let it come forward. Minimize the movement in the arms, in the shoulders, in the legs. Last time, come forward. Good. And then from here, you can come out of your seat a little bit. Keep the hands on the knees. You can bring the feet a little bit closer together, and we're just going to make a circular motion. So I'll start going towards my right. Knees can come forward of the toes, over to the left, and then back. Over to the right, come forward to the left and back one more time. Okay. And then we're going to change directions. I'll face forward just so you can see another angle. So I'm going to start towards the left. And this might feel kind of weird or odd for some of you because we're often told not to move the knees like this. But we really want to think of lubricating the joints, really moving them in all directions. And notice how that even got into the ankles. Come up to standing, shake it out if needed. Okay, and now we're going to start to put all these little pieces of the puzzle together. So I'm going to turn to the side, plant your feet, arms nice and relaxed. Draw your chin in towards the throat, down to the chest, and we're going to roll through the spine like a rag doll. So you're going to start to curl down, feel the upper back start to kind of curl and press back, bend the knees, let the arms be super heavy and relaxed. You can even sway a little bit side to side when you feel a spot that has tension, and come to your natural range. So for some of you, this might be all you have. Hands might be around the shins or the knees, or if you want to go down towards the floor, that's also an option. Keep that chin in towards the throat. Take a big breath in and roll on up. Thinking again of being a rag doll. So arms heavy, they're dangling in front of you. Head and neck relaxed as you roll on up to the very top. And your head is the last to follow. Good, and we'll do that 2 more times. So chin draws in and down, rolling through the spine. Soften your knees. And again, you can really get creative here. So if you want to bring the rib cage towards the thighs, maybe lower the bottom a little bit, you could do that. You could certainly clasp the elbows and sway side to side. Maybe you shake your head yes and no. Lots of things to do here. So I hope the more you do this, the more you feel freedom to just move in the way that feels natural and appropriate for you. And last time. And I find the slower the better. Really kind of work into those spots of tension. You'll know when you feel it. So when you reach that kind of sticky spot, just stay there a moment. Breathe through it and then proceed. Letting everything relax. Head, the neck, the arms, the shoulders are all taking a back seat here. And then articulate one vertebra at a time. Rolling on up. Head's the last to follow. Good. And when you get to the top, keep the eyes closed. Take a moment to observe the energy you feel within your body. Softly open your eyes. And that's it. So you certainly could elaborate on this. You could do more repetitions. Maybe there's movements you'd like to include that weren't in this video. It really was just to get the ball rolling and to help you keep moving even when you need a break. As you can see, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. But if you stick with this, you'll find that eventually things will come around and you might feel ready to revisit your practice, revisit your exercise routine, or for those days you really don't want to, you'll actually feel good, like, okay, I accomplished something, and you can go about your day. So until next time, happy practicing. Just get moving and move in a way that feels good to you. And I'll see you next time.